In the essence of time, we have about 15 minutes before we go out. I want to make sure we get a couple things covered that we wanted to do, which you had a handout about legumes. We want to talk about that a little bit. But first, I thought Jean could mention we had a conversation about shade, so talking about heat stress and putting your animals in the shade. And he brought with him some data about an oak tree in his pasture. And our conversation on the phone was essentially this, is that you have nutrients on your farm, and especially if you're paying for expensive organic nutrients, do you really want them all under one tree? And so I think he's going to pass out, or I can pass it out, and then we talk a little bit about how shade can work incorrectly, and then a little bit about our legumes before we go out and look at the pasture. So, whoops, it's windy.
So, a lot of organic management is about managing fertility, and sometimes we see some fairly low fertility values on soil tests on some organic farms. And I get a little concerned when we have a conversation about providing shade, and we design a paddock that has a single tree in it, or just very few trees versus a lot of shade. Because regardless of whether you've got 40 cows or you've got 80 cows, if there's space for 20 cows, all 80 are going to try and sit underneath that one bit of shade and remain there. So this is actually a tree on one of the paddocks on our farm. Before I split everything up, the trade was fairly scattered with lots of trees. Accidentally, just that happened where the fence was. I wasn't really thinking about that single tree out there, but 25 years of grazing and beef cattle and sheep accumulating underneath that tree, what happens to all that manure and urine in that particular paddock? Now this is a 5-acre field with one large bur oak in it that's slowly dying, and I've never applied fertilizer anywhere near this tree. And that's all passed out. If everybody's got a chance to just glance at that quickly. Soil pH of 7.6, organic matter 6.4. That's kind of whole bum, whatever. Phosphorus values, 111 parts per million phosphorus. Greg's smiling.
I wouldn't think, I would have thought it would have been higher.
Well, I was surprised. I thought it would have been higher.
But it's still very high.
And then, of course, the one that blew me out was 846 parts per million of potassium, which is off the charts high. Potassium comes through in the urine quite a bit more. I just wanted to do a little quick math this morning. If you understand soil test and soil fertility, it takes 17 pounds of phosphorus to have 1 part per million change in a soil test. So that's the amount of phosphorus that has to get removed in order to move this dial up or down. So if we were to, this is a D slope, so I'm not going to hay this, but if I were to put a crop of alfalfa on that and got 3.5 tons of alfalfa yield, and all I did was mine the soil, haul that back out, it would take me 29 years to bring that down to 25 parts per million, which is our goal for Wisconsin.
Wow.
All from having a relatively small beef herd and all just gathering under there. On a day like today, if they were in that paddock, they would be in that shade.
And that's really, really tremendous information. Why try to talk to people about making things so that you can evenly distribute the manure and the urine around your farm. And many people will tell me, well, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. And I respectfully would say that then take a soil test and then make sure that you know that that's the case, if it really doesn't make a difference. Every time that we've seen it, you take a look at Jim Garish's work, if you look at all the work around the country, these are the kind of numbers that come up with it. So the idea of moving stuff around, both the watering, where the water is, where the salt is, where the shade is, extremely important. And rotation is part of it, but it's very powerful.
Yeah, there's another teaching moment in there. You talked about how long it would take to draw the phosphorus down. Although it's a number that I have never come across 846 ppm of potassium, but it would take just 4 to 5 years to draw that down to zero with a forage.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
And that leads us to the point that we should also emphasize that many of us, we get out on farms, and the main complaint is lack of productivity of the pastures, right? That's the main complaint.
Absolutely.
And there's usually two things. One is management, and we talked a lot about residual and so forth. The other one is lack of fertility, specifically on organic farms. And so many producers forget that they really have to treat their pastures in terms of fertility, just like the alfalfa field, if they want to get really good productivity. And that includes knowing where your potassium levels are, but also have adequate legume content in your paddocks. That's where we get, as organic producers, where we get our nitrogen from, right? And to that effect, I think producers are too hesitant to put legumes out there on their perennial pastures on an ongoing basis, be it either through frost seeding or interseeding or whatever.
I think so. That's a good point. That's a perfect segue into our handout. You all should have something about visual reference guide for estimating legume content in pasture. And this was recommended by Jean as a great visual guide because there's some beautiful color pictures. And I don't remember exactly what we said on the phone, but I think I should have guessed, well, most people have probably 30% legume in their pasture, or they should, or they think they should have. And I think Jean came back with 50%, or?
Well, at 30%, I'm thinking about interseeding or cross seeding or getting more out there.
Yeah, so that's,
So I want between 40 and 60%. And a couple times when I've been over at Alfred's, he had tremendous stands of red clover. I think that's a key part is having a good legume component, whether you're conventional or organic. I think that's important. And it comes back to soil potassium, it comes back to management, but we tend to look at clover or legume and we visually assess it based on percentage of ground cover, not on percentage of dry matter. And I guess that was why I thought Ed's photos are helpful, because we took clips, weighed them, dried them, separated them, and said this is what actually a 50% or 70% red clover stand actually looks like. And it's a pile of clover.
And so if you didn't get the take-home message, reiterating once again, when you look out into a stand, because in general, especially if it has clover in it, but alfalfa is also true, those leaves are bigger. And just the way your eyes pick up stuff, that rounded, larger shape, you register that there's more there rather than looking at the grass. So most people, I'd say 9 out of 10 will overestimate how much legume they have out there. So that's a real frustration. In general, that's what I've always made the recommendation for all folks that are pasturing, is that they should have at least 50% legumes out there, and 50% by weight, not just by the numbers of plants, but actually 50% by the volume. And I have never had any pushback on that, except last week when I was up at Roger and Michelle Benrud's. They were adamant that they did not want to have any more than about 30% or less of legumes, because they were just scared to death of bloat. They'd had 3 or 4 cows that had died over the years, and they were just, I was really taken aback, because I went out there, and my first thing was, well, we just need to eat some more legumes out here. Absolutely not. We will not have more legumes out there. Okay, that's the deal. Just a real quick thought though on species. There's a lot of differences in the legumes that we can use. But now that Kira clover is coming back, that we are finally being able to get some production, and there is some seed available, I'd sure strongly recommend that if you're looking at longer term stands, think about using Cura clover as the main clover out there. It's kind of expensive, takes a couple of years to establish, but it'll last between, well, it's done well, somewhere between 50 to 100 years. So it's a pretty good clover.
Just curious,
But
Vance, how you, about the bloat question real quick?
Yeah, talking about bloat,
How
with
did
Cura you have to be especially careful because it pushes other non-competing grasses out, so you have to be really careful for the companion grass you choose, like reed canary.
Yeah, reed canary is a real good one. And we've raised Cura on our farm for at least 17 years, and now I've got 10 acres in seed production. I'm going to have another 20 acres in seed production. So, there's finally going to be Cura seed available, but there's other places you can buy Cura. You sure don't have to get it from me.
What's the Hagen variety?
Yeah, but the point is that that's a darn good species that you should think of.
So how did you calm down those farmers about the bloat issue? What was your
Didn't,
recommendation?
and never, wasn't able to.
Okay.
They were adamant that the legume, that it was too much danger to have legumes out there, and all of the various, procedures and stuff that we talked about, to alleviate some of those problems, they were adamant that they wouldn't work. And all you can say is that if to a producer is if they know it isn't going to work, they're right. It won't work for them.
Maybe you can talk about those, but I want to see what the question is here from Kelly first.
Well, because I just was curious, did you ask them if they fed them dry hay before putting them out, or did you not?
The short answer is absolutely. We went through hundreds of, or not hundreds, maybe 20 or 30 scenarios. Yeah, they're very experienced grazers. They've been doing this for a lot of years.
But they had that problem after doing that?
Yeah, that they claim to, but I shouldn't say never experienced it. It's really interesting. There's a I think he's still Organic Valley producer over by Waukon, Jeremy Peet.
Yeah.
And Jeremy claims up and down that you could not bloat a cow if you grazed them correctly. Now, he said that for a number of years. He said if you do it correctly, he said you can't bloat a cow. And then one of the last pasture walks, he did say, he said, well, I finally did kill one. He said, but I must have doing something wrong. The point is that those are two extremes. I think somewhere in between, I think it is possible if you have a lot of bad luck and if there are certain things that you don't take into account, I think absolutely you can blow cattle. But we have raised very, very high levels of legume paddocks for many, many years, and I managed to kill one. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that.
So what are your top 3 tips? Oh, another question.
Right.
It's really a function of how much of that plant they eat. Are they being mob grazed, or are they being just letting them have all the leaves?
Absolutely
It's a function
right.
of what they eat of that plant. If they eat the whole plant, they aren't going to bloat. They get fiber in the stem.
Well, it depends on the maturity of the clover as well.
Right.
If it hasn't grown flowers yet and they eat it down to the ground, there's still not enough fiber there.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's
Right,
fine.
yeah, so whenever, I've grazed what you would consider almost 100% pure standard clover.
Yes.
And I've just let it go until the field looks like a little pink meadow, and then give the cows a small area and
I have seen you do that.
and make them eat it to the ground, and it just works. But then so it's all kind of a holistic thing. So the other thing in my mind is, so tonight I know that my cows are going to go in that piece tomorrow. So tonight when I give them a break, I give them a little bit more. So when they come into the parlor, they're not starving to death. So when they get to that clover, they just kind of walk in and whatever.
Right, so you prep them. You
Yeah.
prep them for the
It's all management from wherever you're going to do and whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Gina has a comment.
So, some folks are just scared to death of clover, and they're scared enough to inaction, and you're just not gonna overcome that.
Right.
We've raised pure alfalfa, or 90%, 95% alfalfa, 90% red clover. I just took my grass finished steers and heifers off alfalfa hayfield with just a little bit of grass coming into it. Everybody's fine. But I'm cognizant it could be an issue. And I think there is a component of management that if you're getting it tight enough so they're consuming stems, we slow down that rate of passage, which is where that load is coming from. But I think there's also probably individuals within the herd that may not listen to themselves as they're eating.
Right.
Getting the signal to stop doing this, and they continue to graze past the point of no return. So can we ever say it's 100% safe? Nope. But
So they call themselves essentially.
I mean, it sounds a little cavalier, but becomes a self-selling trait. So the question I guess I would propose is how often is bloat an issue? And what are you giving up to those
Yes.
individuals that don't make it?
Very good.
You know, so we often become paralyzed because we might lose a cow once every 4, 5, 6 years. And how much production did we lose, and would that cover the cost of that cow?
Yeah, very good.
Now, if you're losing 10% of the herd every year, stop doing that. But a cow or a sheep or anything, once in a while, here and there, because of bloat, there's just so much production advantages to having good clover, good alfalfa, or a very high legume content to that stand, that I think it's foolish not to overlook that.
Thank you, Gene, yeah. I want to make sure, we're kind of close to time, but I want to make sure there's a few,
There was a
time for a
question
few
over here.
questions. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah,
Randy.
my question was in reference to the legumes. Does that same feeding regimen, do you follow it during heat stress? Is there more of a precaution to send them into stands that have a majority of legumes during heat stress?
That's a good question. They're hot.
I don't change because of heat stress. What you'll see is in a diverse stand, livestock will start in the morning grazing more legumes and then move to grasses more later in the morning or earlier afternoon. Fred Provenza out of Utah, I think he's retired now, actually did mixed stands when he did blocks. Now a block out on these hillsides isn't very practical, but they had higher dry matter intakes where the cows could actually naturally select just clover and then move to just grasses in the afternoon. Now I'm not sure how I would plant that on a hillside. But, you know, the cows do change in their grazing behavior on time of day and the feedback mechanism that they're getting from their rumen.
Kevin, are you getting concerned with those high legume stands you mentioned, with too high in MUN, nutritionally speaking, for your cows?
Can you tell us what that is real quick, the abbreviation?
Milk, urea, nitrogen. Are you concerned that the protein level, since you're all grass, the protein level in the ration for your cows is getting too high?
Yeah, well, I mean, so my perspective of being 100% grass farmer, since I don't have the luxury of adding corn into the ration, generally my cow's diet is higher in protein than they need. And so when they're high in protein, that's where the urea nitrogen comes from. So usually for me it's a give and take, because I don't really have a plan B, because my goal and plan on the farm is to provide 100% forage from pasture during the grazing season with no supplemental feeding. So like on the clover, if you can let the pastures get a little bit more mature, especially the alfalfa and the clover, let them get a little bit more mature, some of the protein in that plant will start to go down. And if there's enough grasses in the pasture mix, generally the grasses will make up for the additional energy that you need. So I do have a concern, but generally, so I'm seasonal, so usually by the time I'm getting on to those fields, all my cows should be bred. And from a lot of the research that I read, that high MUNs can affect a cow being bred or not, but it's usually in the earlier parts. Once she's bred, 2-3 months, those high MUNs don't affect the fetus as much. So you're pretty safe there. So I've seen my MUN get up into the mid-20s for a period of time. And the other thing is, you gotta watch your cow. So when you start seeing your milk come back with MUNs in the 20s, you'll also see really loose manure. You'll probably see a little bump in production, but you'll see the body conditions start to come off of those cows. So if I've got a big field of this clover, and I can start to see that my cows are going backwards, I'll come up with a plan B. make it for hay, whatever's in there. So yeah, MUNs is always in the back of my mind, no matter what pasture I'm grazing, but it's always a give and take to manage the pastures for the pasture, and for the cows at the same time, so it's always one of them.
Thank you. Yeah, just really quick, there was a question I want to make sure we get, and then we'll go to Jean, and then we'll wrap
I was
up.
actually gonna ask about protein
Yeah,
too, but maybe, so on, how do you get enough energy? Like, do you have enough fertility in the field already from the legume? Might you shift more towards more grasses to boost your energy?
Well, yeah, so that's the other give and take is that, ideally, as a grass farmer shipping 100% grass milk, the ideal forage would be straight grass, 14 inches tall, growing in 80 degrees with 2 inches of rain every other week. So,
Pretty simple.
yeah. And lots of, some type of organic nitrogen that would fall from heaven to keep it going. So you want a lot of the clovers in there just to feed the grass. But if you get too much clover, then you get the high protein and so, yeah, for me, energy is always my limiting factor, whatever day of the year it is, whether it's winter or grazing or whatever. I'm always short of energy, so I'm always trying to maximize that in my grazing. Just what it is.
What grazing techniques can you employ to encourage grasses versus the legumes? Is it seeding? Is it grazing management? Is it sward?
Well, no matter what you do, it's just going to become grass. You're always trying to get the legumes out there. So you'll very rarely have a situation where you have a pasture that you've done nothing to and it's just turned all the legumes. It'll always turn to grass. So, every year I frost feed a few pounds of clover on every, pasture that I've got. And so.
we're going to have lots of time for more questions when you break into small groups right now. So I think you had a final comment, Jean, and then I'm going to break you into small groups.
Well, and as Vance was talking about corn, and let's not forget about corn, if you think about legumes, the one that hasn't been mentioned is birch foot trefoil, which is a non-bloating legume. It has condensed tannins. It will provide very high quality feed. It doesn't lose its feed quality as quickly as alfalfa and more red clover. And because of the condensed tannins, it gives you a bump in bypass protein. Plant breeders, alfalfa breeders are trying to breed into alfalfa condensed tannins because of that bypass protein effect. So if you've got a producer that's scared to death about bloat from clover or alfalfa, then at least introduce the idea of trefoil as an alternative. And once established, if we can allow that to reseed itself every third year or so, it can become a perpetual part of the sport.
How is its productivity here in the southern part?
We get slightly less yield than alfalfa in at least the hay varieties. Usually, if you think about it, most of the data is on hay rather than grazing. But instead of a 4 cut, we think about 3 grazings off of it and maybe a half a ton less yield.
I just want to make a comment.
Yeah.
So your soils are not droughty. Don't put birch foot trefoil on droughty soil.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Well, let's give our panel a round of applause.